Imagine a scenario that sounds completely impossible in today's hyper-commercialized world. A young independent artist manages to accumulate well over 300 million views on YouTube, sell tens of thousands of physical albums across every continent, and build a fiercely loyal global. What makes this achievement truly staggering is that it was done without a single second of mainstream radio airplay, without relying on ridiculous viral tick dance trends, and without the backing of corporate music giants like Universal or Warner Music. For the suits sitting in high-rise offices in Hollywood or London, this phenomenon is a highly frustrating anomaly. The traditional industry rulebook has dictated for decades that if a new artist wants to achieve global reach, they must sign away their creative freedom to a multi-billion-dollar media conglomerate. Yet, a teenager from a small town in England successfully dismantled those barriers. The secret to this success does not lie within glittering corporate boardrooms, but inside a quiet, strategic independent partnership, a mysterious entity that radically altered how the modern world views the music business. This entire journey stems from a massive question mark that most casual observers completely miss. Why would one of the vocal talents of our generation choose to stay far away from the glamour of major record labels, placing her entire future in the hands of a boutique startup with almost no prior digital footprint? The answer takes us deep into one of the most brilliant, enigmatic business strategies ever executed in modern entertainment. But to understand how this indie empire was built, we must travel back to the exact moment it all began, when the blinding lights of reality television threatened to extinguish a brilliant spark before it could even catch fire. It all started back in 2018, when a 14-year-old stepped onto the stage of The Voice Kids UK. With a calm demeanor and a vocal range capable of sending shivers down your spine, the young teenager, Lucy Thomas, instantly captivated both the celebrity judges and millions of viewers at home. However, as industry insiders know all too well, reality television singing competitions are often a psychological trap. The vast majority of contestants, even the ones who walk away with the trophy, vanish into complete obscurity the exact moment the studio cameras shut down and their restrictive television contracts expire. Many end up suffering severe career burnout, while others see their long-term potential destroyed by instant, short-lived exploitation. This is where the very first miracle occurred. Just as the audience assumed this young vocalist would become another statistic chewed up and spat out by the reality TV machine, a newly formed entity called Cavendish Records emerged from the shadows. This boutique label saw exactly what mainstream TV producers had completely overlooked. They didn't see a disposable teenager who could be forced to sing generic, overproduced pop anthems destined to be forgotten in 2 weeks. Instead, they envisioned a high-art, long-term artistic investment. The initial decision made by this new partnership sent shockwaves through the local music community. Rather than rushing to capitalize on temporary television hype by releasing electronic dance tracks aimed at radio play, Cavendish Records took a massive, calculated risk. They pulled their new artist completely off the mainstream pop radar and began drafting a blueprint centered entirely around classical crossover and sweeping musical. It was an incredibly bold gamble. In 2018, these specific genres were widely considered dead and unprofitable by major labels chasing quick streaming metrics. But what happened next proved that breaking the rules is sometimes the only way to win. To fully appreciate why this strategy was a total rebellion against the established system, one must understand how modern music marketing works. Standard industry practice forces a new artist to spend years releasing endless singles, desperately begging digital curators to place their songs onto algorithmic playlists, and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on radio promo slots that rarely yield tangible results. Cavendish Records viewed this toxic cycle as a form of modern creative slavery that was completely inefficient for a pure, generational vocalist. They chose to ignore the entire mainstream ecosystem altogether. They recognized a fundamental truth that major label executives had completely lost sight of. Millions of listeners worldwide felt completely alienated by modern music. There was a massive global demographic that was deeply tired of heavily computerized tracks, excessive auto-tune, and shallow, repetitive lyrics. These listeners were starved for pure vocal capability, grand orchestral arrangements, and timeless classics that possessed genuine emotional depth. By focusing their entire creative energy on legendary songs from iconic West End productions and timeless ballads, Cavendish Records built an incredibly fortified, dedicated audience base. This strategy was highly effective because they weren't chasing casual listeners who skip songs within 5 seconds. They were targeting true music collectors, people who don't just stream music passively on their phones, but who are actively eager to purchase physical CDs, vinyl records, and official merchandise. Through this deeply organic approach, the foundation of their indie empire grew solid. Yet, to transform a niche, dedicated into a global powerhouse with hundreds of millions of views, they required a highly sophisticated distribution engine. And that engine was found in a place traditional marketing experts completely underestimated. While major record labels were burning millions of dollars on digital billboards in Times Square or paying social media influencers to execute viral dances, Cavendish Records concentrated their entire marketing arsenal on a single platform: YouTube. However, the way they exploited this video giant did not follow the conventional creator playbook. They didn't flood the internet with invasive personal vlogs, clickbait thumbnails, or behind-the-scenes drama to harvest cheap clicks. Their focus remained entirely pure, delivering musical performances with exceptionally high visual and audio production values. Every single video released on their channel was engineered with absolute precision. Cinematographic studio lighting, studio-grade audio mixing on par with Grammy-winning records, and a camera focus that remained entirely locked onto the raw emotional delivery of the singer. When their first few videos hit the internet, the YouTube algorithm detected a highly elusive, incredibly rare metric: an exceptionally high audience retention rate. People weren't just clicking the videos and leaving. They were watching from the very first second to the very last frame, sharing the links on social media, and rewatching them on a loop. The resulting snowball effect was massive. The YouTube algorithm, which is constantly hungry for premium content that keeps users glued to its platform, began automatically recommending these videos to millions of home feeds across the globe. A single cover video of an iconic ballad would suddenly skyrocket from a few thousand views to tens of millions within a matter of months. This was definitive proof that flawless vocal quality, when packaged with clean visual aesthetics, could trigger organic word-of-mouth marketing far more powerful than the biggest corporate ad budgets. Yet, amidst this meteoric rise, a new layer of mystery began to form, sparking intense speculation across online communities. To this very day, if you attempt to dig deep into the corporate background of Cavendish Records using standard search engines, you will encounter something highly unusual for a widely successful music label in the digital age. They leave almost no public footprint. There are no grand interviews featuring a charismatic CEO, no glamorous photographs from lavish album launch parties, and no sprawling portfolio showcasing dozens of signed artists. The label itself is named after Henry Cavendish, a brilliant 18th-century British scientist who was famous for his extraordinary intellect, but equally notorious for being incredibly reclusive and eccentric. The choice of this name seems less like a coincidence and more like an intentional mission statement. The label operates much more like an exclusive, quiet art atelier from the Renaissance era, rather than a modern, mass-producing music factory. Speculation and rumors among fans and industry analysts frequently question how such a compact, independent operation managed to secure flawless production facilities, top-tier orchestral arrangers, and seamless global distribution networks right from day one. Some internet whispers have even suggested that influential figures within the UK music industry deliberately funded and controlled the project from behind the scenes to prove a new thesis regarding musical independence. However, regardless of the mysteries and rumors floating around, one fact remains completely undeniable: their absolute, laser-focused dedication to their primary artist. Cavendish Records chose never to dilute their attention. While other labels are constantly busy signing hundreds of new artists to chase short-term profit margins, this enigmatic label pours 100% of its resources, time, and creative expertise into perfecting every single project for Lucy Thomas. And this single-focus strategy quickly birthed an astonishing level of productivity that the modern music world had rarely seen before. Let us look closely at the actual data. Since 2019, the partnership between Cavendish Records and Lucy Thomas has maintained a work ethic that could easily be described as extreme, especially by modern industry standards. They successfully delivered a full-length, studio-grade album almost every single year. The marathon began with the debut album premiere in 2019, followed swiftly by Encore in 2020, Timeless in 2021, Portrait in 2022, and continuing forward with highly ambitious projects like Destiny and Beyond. For the vast majority of modern musicians, releasing a full album every 2 or 3 years is already considered an exhausting achievement. The intense process of selecting tracks, perfecting arrangements, enduring grueling studio recording hours, audio mastering, and global promotion demands a massive toll on energy. There is a very real risk that such a relentless schedule could trigger severe creative burnout, vocal fatigue, or deep psychological exhaustion, ending a career in a heartbeat. Yet instead of stumbling, this collaboration appeared to grow exponentially stronger with every subsequent release. This aggressive annual release strategy was actually a highly calculated tactical. By constantly dropping full-length albums, they built a massive, high-value music catalog in record time. Each new album essentially acted as an automated marketing machine for all the previous records. Whenever a new listener discovered a freshly released video on YouTube, they were immediately pulled into a vast, established ecosystem, prompting them to go back and purchase the entire backlog of physical CDs and vinyls. It created a highly profitable, self-sustaining loop. But right when their studio formula reached absolute perfection, they decided to take a dangerous new gamble. After successfully dominating digital spaces and physical album sales through legendary cover songs, Cavendish Records made a decision that left many industry analysts completely baffled. They chose to step entirely out of the safe, highly controlled comfort zone of the recording studio and plunge headfirst into an industry known for being incredibly brutal and unforgiving: the world of original live musical through a project titled The Musical. Transitioning from a successful studio recording artist who went viral on the internet into a live theatrical performer is a massive leap that has completely destroyed the careers of countless internet celebrities before. Singing into a studio microphone with the luxury of infinite retakes is away from standing on a live stage, where you must act, project, and deliver flawless emotional performances in front of thousands of critical eyes without a single safety net. Failure in a high-profile live project like this doesn't just result in catastrophic financial losses. It can instantly wipe out years of hard-earned artistic credibility in a single evening. True to form, Cavendish Records refused to do this project half-heartedly. They completely rejected the idea of using cheap digital backing tracks. Instead, they recruited a premier 30-piece live orchestra to record the entire musical arrangement in a massive studio setting. They produced an original conceptual album with a production value that easily rivaled legendary West End or Broadway shows. The moment the original tracks from the musical were unveiled, all public doubt evaporated. The project proved not only that the artist possessed phenomenal live vocal power, but that this small indie label possessed the creative muscle to stand shoulder to shoulder with the biggest titans in global. This bold move was the ultimate proof that old traditional boundaries had shattered completely. BAB8, The Fall of the Gatekeepers and the Future of Stardom. The extraordinary success achieved by the partnership between Cavendish Records and Lucy Thomas offers a profoundly valuable, yet terrifying lesson to the global entertainment industry. This phenomenon serves as absolute proof that the era where corporate gatekeepers held a monopoly on stardom, deciding exactly who gets to be a superstar and who remains locked out, has come to a permanent end. By refusing to chase superficial pop trends, maintaining absolute independent creative control, and cultivating a transparent, direct relationship with listeners across the globe, a tiny independent label completely outmaneuvered the marketing playbooks of the largest entertainment conglomerates on Earth. They proved that in our modern digital landscape, artistic integrity and pure vocal talent hold a far more powerful, permanent magnetism than any manufactured marketing stunt cooked up in a corporate office. This incredible journey forces all of us to redefine what it truly means to be a successful artist in the modern era. Does a musician today genuinely require the validation of a restrictive, multi-million-dollar corporate contract, or is an uncompromising artistic vision, a relentless work ethic, and a digital connection to the world more than enough to capture the hearts of millions? The definitive answer is written beautifully within every single note, every viral video, and every chart-topping album born from this remarkable independent empire. This proof will continue to echo loudly throughout the music world for a very long time, inspiring a whole new generation that the path to the top no longer requires walking through corporate gates.